Welcome to Nona's Here.
Hi, welcome to Nona's Here. I'm Nona. Today, I am joining in the challenge of 5 DIYs for $5. Today's challenge is hosted by Emily from Farm Charm Chick and Missy from Crafty Cove DIY and their guest host Kendra from Late Night Creations. I have done 5 DIYs for $5, but you will want to be sure and check out the entire playlist of other crafters who have joined in showing 5 of their crafts for $5. I would like to thank Emily, Missy, and Kendra for allowing me to join in today for the challenge of making 5 DIYs for $5. Thanks so much for joining us, and I hope if you enjoy my video, you'll give me a thumbs up and a comment telling me which one of my 5 projects is your favorite. Now, don't forget to check out the playlist so you'll get some ideas of what the other crafters are doing. Remember, I always say my crafts are fun, easy, and budget friendly. Okay, let's get over to my craft table and I'll show you what I've been doing to make my DIYs for $5. Thanks so much again to Emily, Missy, and Kendra for this open invite. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks again for visiting Nona's Here. I hope to see you again very soon.
DIY number 1. All right, so I got this piece at Dollar General, and it cost me $1. So I took it and I used this piece of scrap paper that I thought was really pretty, and I traced it on the back, and I cut it out, and I glued it on to the piece of fake wood. And I used my spray-on adhesive, and it was kind of hard to get around the top part, and I kind of messed up, but that's okay. So I did the best I could. The nice part about using a pattern piece of scrap paper is you can use the scrap part of the scrap paper and find where the pattern fits and just use it and glue it on to match so that you don't really see the part where you messed up. So I did that, and then I also, when I tried to trim it, I also kind of messed up when I put it on. So I just found part of the pattern on the scrap part, and I put that on, and I used tacky glue to do that. And don't worry, you're not going to see it when it's all done. So then I had these Sola wood flowers that I got a long time ago. I paid $25 for like 75 flowers, and I picked out flowers that matched the colors in the pattern, and they came with these wire stems. So then I liked the saying on the jar that said, "Live life full in bloom." So I took them and I stuck the stems into the flowers, and some of them I used toothpicks because they don't have stems on them. And I hot glued the stems in, and then I hot glued the flowers onto the back of the jar. Okay, so I had where I showed you where I had made a few mistakes trimming off the paper. So I took these little self-adhesive beads and I put those along the edge, because as I always say, there's no mistakes in art, only opportunities to enhance. And these self-adhesive beads are real easy to use because they bend. So I had all my flowers glued to the back, and I took these self-adhesive beads that I had in my stash, and I just put them along the edge to cover up my mistakes where I had trimmed. Then I took duct tape and reinforced the flowers in the back to make sure they'd stay. And I had used vinyl, scraps of my vinyl, and cut out on my Cricut, "Live Life in Full Bloom." So there is the total cost of $4.10. The dollar for the piece of wood in the shape of a jar, $2 for the flowers, 50 cents for the beads, 50 cents for the vinyl, and 10 cents for the glue, and there already was a hanger on it. So that was a total of $4.10. DIY number 2. Now this is something, I've never seen anyone do this, but I found this steering wheel cover, and I'm using this foam wreath cover. This is all from Dollar Tree. And I'm sure someone has done this before me, but I've never seen it. So I bought this steering wheel cover in Dollar Tree, and they had them in white, blue and white, and orange. This was the only blue and white one, so I took it. And so I put it around the wreath form, and it really takes 4 hands. But the reason why it's out of the camera view is because I had to hold it against myself, because every time I tried to put it on, it popped off. Then I had these zinnia flowers, and so I cut them off the branch and I stuck them in the foam. And then I got this cute welcome sign with the bicycle at Dollar Tree. And so I was going to use that. I did use that. And I wanted to make it so that it would be the hanger. So I attached it with this floral wire. And you can't really see it, but I attached it on 2 sides. And see how you really can't see it. But I did attach it with that. And then I took a few of the zinnias and attached it to the top so that the flowers went all the way around. And that's what I did. So I'm sure other people have used steering wheel covers to cover the foam wreaths, but I've just never seen it. So tell me if you've seen other people do that and if they've used steering wheel covers in other ways, because I'd be really curious to know. So that's my little welcome sign. And the total cost for this was $4.75. $1.25 for the foam ring, $1.25 for the steering wheel cover, $1.25 from the flowers that I got out of my stash, and $1.25 for the hanger, for a total of $4.75. DIY number 3. All right, for this one I got a vase at Dollar Tree, of course, and I had to get the sticker off the bottom, so I used my goof off. And then, of course, I wiped down the vase with alcohol and a cotton pad. And then I got these transfers at Dollar Tree and a bag of black rocks. And then out of my stash, I pulled some flowers. And when I say a stash, I have a wire basket from Dollar Tree that I stick every little flower, piece of flower, leaf, and I pulled from that. So then I used only a half a bag of those black rocks, if that, and I put the transfers on the glass vase, which I didn't show because I was concentrating so hard. I'd never used transfers before. And then I had these dripping blossoms in my stash, a couple different stems with just a couple on each stem, and I used those and I stuck those in the black vase, the black rocks. And this is how it turned out. For this project, I spent $4.50. The tall vase cost me $1.25. I only used less than half of a sack of those black rocks for 75 cents. I pulled out a couple partially used stems of those dripping blossoms for $1.25. And then, of course, the transfers for $1.25, so that added up to $4.50 for this project. Okay, on to DIY number 3. For this one, I used one of these long trench boxes, and I'm going to cover it with paint, but I tell you, I use this Moss Waverly chalk paint, and I did have to give it 2 coats because that brown plaid is really dark. And I took some flowers that I had in my stash, and I took off the cellophane covering, and I gave it 2 coats of this moss. Even though the moss is a pretty dark color, I had to give it 2 coats, and I painted it all the way around, including a little bit on the inside. And then I had some styrofoam, and I cut the styrofoam down and put it into the inside, just jigsawed it down. And then when I had that done, I took some of those pretty blue flowers with leaves, and then I had this spring sign that was the very last one of a package of stickers I had. It had fallen to the bottom of a bin, and I was the last one, so I took it and I attached that to the front, and I had stuck these pretty blue, different kinds of blue flowers out of my stash and some purple flowers. And then I had a bag of these little styrofoam stick-on letters that I'd used 100 years ago with my grandkids, and I spelled out welcome. And then when I got it all done, I realized that the spring sign was lower than the box, so I took 2 tumbling blocks and painted them and put them on either end so that the little flower box sat up higher using wood glue, and just let that dry so that the box stood up a little bit so you could see the welcome spring. And that was real simple, and that's all I did. The flowers all came out of my stash, and there you can see it, welcome spring. And this project cost $4.35, and that was $1.25 for the box, $1.50 for the styrofoam, $1 for the flowers, 50 cents for the letters, and 10 cents for the paint, for a total of $4.35. Wait, sorry, those numbers don't add up. It was 50 cents for the styrofoam because I just used a few pieces out of that box. So that added up to $4.35. Okay, for the last one, DIY number 5. For this one, I bought a round piece of decor, and I'm going to take off the glitter from the front and paint the back with the maize chalk paint. I'm going to use my glue gun, some wood glue, and I am going to paint the front. I'm going to take off the glitter, but this is going to be a gift, so I am going to paint the front and get rid of as much glitter as I can. So I'm painting it with the maize, and then I am going to take the letters, Hello Spring, and I'm going to paint them. And what I'm showing you here is how I do letters. So I'm taking my duct tape, I'm putting it down on parchment paper, I'm folding the ends of each one down so that they'll stick with the sticky side up. I'm putting my wood letters on the sticky side, and then I'm going to paint the letters so that they will not move around because they're stuck on the duct tape. And that way I can move my paper around and get all the edges, and everything will be well painted without the letters moving around, which drive me crazy, which is where I learned this trick on YouTube, of course. So I'm painting all the letters with the ballet slipper pink chalk paint. And then I will put those letters on the round board to say Hello Spring. I'm also going to take some, I think I'm using the Moss chalk paint, just to dry brush the round to give it a little bit of texture. And then you can see my stash of flowers in the back that I'm going to use to decorate hot glue around the round. Yeah, that's ballet slippers that I'm using to paint the colors. No, I lied. I'm going to use the ballet slippers chalk paint to just dry brush around the round, just to give it a little bit of texture and background so it's not that flat maize, although I love that maize color. All right, so I'm doing that. Then I'm going to take the letters off of the sticky side of the duct tape, and I've put them on the round just to see how it's going to look. And I'm going to use the wood glue and a dot of hot glue for the fast stick. Excuse me. Little bit of the wood glue and a dot of the hot glue for the fast hold, and then it will say Hello Spring. Okay, so after I get that done and those have had a chance to dry, I will take and see I painted the back with the ballet slippers. So I put my flowers on around, and what I'm showing you here is I do like to leave a few empty spots for the eye to rest when the person's looking at this. I also like, when I have a round like this, to have some things come off of the piece, like the butterfly that's flying onto the piece, the flower that dips off, other flowers that kind of bring the eye up and around the piece. So not everything is laying flat on the piece of wood. Pieces go different ways, and I think that helps the eye look around the piece of art. Okay, so I had this scrap of ribbon. I mean, we are talking just a scrap. I had just enough to make this hanger, and so I put it through the hole and tied it, and then of course I used the hanger. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna have to fire my editor. He inserted the wrong picture. That's a joke. I don't really have an editor. Wish I did. Okay, so this is the real picture. This is the final project, and the cost came out to $3.45, $1.25 for the wooden round, $1.25 I just figured for the flowers that I pulled out of my stash, 75 cents for the wooden letters, and 25 cents for the scrap of ribbon and the glue and the paint. So that's the last project. Tell me which one was your favorite. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you again at Nona's Here very soon. Bye.